My name is Greg Hamilton, and this is the Highway to Heaven in 88 Steps. We're asking ourselves, how do we get to heaven? Who do we ask? People that are in heaven, God and Jesus. Correct? So, what we're trying to do is find the connection and the bridge within ourselves. Since we're on day 3, we're going to start taking this a little bit more serious because it is a job. It is a daily process. If you're going to build a bridge or a highway from one spot to another, it doesn't happen overnight, as we've talked about already. You have to start someplace with an intention of what you want to do. Now it's day 3, so it's probably not possible for you to actually be working on your highway at this moment in time. Is that correct? It's possible you don't even know where you want your highway to go. So, what we're doing is now we're going to start taking things a little bit more serious. What have we been doing the last 2 days? Exactly. We've been trying to find the peace and quiet, the time to ask ourselves, what do we want to do with our time? We all think that we're using our choices with time by going to work and then budgeting the time to go to the store and then come back and then do our chores and then hurry up and do it again so that then we can schedule our time on Saturday. Well, this is really just the rat race. This is the race. I'm not trying to say that we all have to do this. I'm not trying to say you change one for the other. And this is what so many people try to sit there and say and do. Just stop what you're doing. But they don't have an answer to replace it with something, do they? How do you just stop what you're doing? Just, okay, we're done. The highway's done. Of course not. So, what we're doing is we're now going to replace, we're going to change. We're asking something new. We're doing something new. And this is going to require work, dedication, seriousness. And since it's you asking you what you want to do, who's in charge of you being serious about this? Who's in charge of you asking you what you want to do? God has a purpose for you. If you pray, it's the direct link highway to heaven. Okay? But most of us have not been able to learn to just slow down and hear the inner voice in our head. Because there's way too much swimming around with our TVs and our entertainment and our responsibilities, chasing the Joneses carrot. Okay, you see, there's a lot of things that we're trying to change now. And one of the things that we're trying to change is being responsible for the things that we think. It's a lot to do on that kind of just a short, simple question or answer or comment or however you want to view that statement. So, what we're going to do is we're going to build it step by step, 88 steps. We'll see how many it takes, right? It takes a little bit different for each and every single one of us. So, what we're doing right now is we're going to get real serious about the simplest question that leads us all the way there. How serious are you going to be about wanting to know what you want to do? Let's say you're lucky enough to already know that what you want to do. A lot of us, like some have been, probably all of us, were born as children, had these visions and these dreams, and knew what we were going to be, and these. And I'm not talking about I was going to be a fireman and an astronaut type dreams, you know what I mean? But some of us it was. That is the case, okay? But we kind of knew as a kid, but then they kept telling us, "Bah, grow up, grow up, grow up, grow up. Stop thinking for yourself." How are you going to get ahead in life like that? So, we're going to go back to those type of dreams. You got to go back to a whole bunch of, if you're my age, because it doesn't matter where you're at, where you're starting from, because it's the same dialogue that you're going to be deprogramming. If you're 55 like myself, or if you're 15 when I first learned this. Now, when I first learned this, doesn't mean that I got it in roses. And then that's the trick. If you think you're going to learn something in these 88 steps to get to your highway, the highway never is complete. Bummer. You're already on it. You've already started. Don't quit now. But you'll never, ever, ever lay that last brick to get to the end of your highway. You're laying the foundation so that the next person that comes along can then start from where you left off and continue building that highway to show others. And this way, the highway gets bigger, wider, stronger, thicker, and we all get there, right? So, this is our highway to heaven because it's a personal journey. As soon as you figure out what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to go out and tell somebody, this is it, what I'm going to do. And you know what they're going to say? Just like they did when you were a kid. So it's a real strong, hard, rewarding journey, but you have to be serious about wanting to do this. The rewards are beyond imagination. But you have to put your boots on in the morning. You go to work hungry, keep waiting for that lunch bell. You come back home tired, okay? And it's the same thing within your mind. You're going to have to do this, and it's going to take discipline and requirement. And what we're trying to do here is to find that spot so that you can find that purpose and have the free time to then read your Bible. Because this is where it all comes from. This is where it's all about. This is where it's all from. We're going to a highway to heaven. And sometimes the Bible is very difficult to read if you have never done it before because of all the programming. We'll get there down the road. We're going to pass a few off ramps and build a couple strong miles before we start really digesting and getting into the Bible, because I'm not here to sit there and talk about saying I can interpret or understand the most read book the world's ever seen. That's for you to decide how you're going to read and interpret it. But what we're going to do is build that highway to heaven. All right? So, my friends, remember, it's up to you to find the time to sit down and ask yourself, what is it that I want to do? And I pray that you ask yourself these things and find these answers and then go for it. So I pray for America. Amen.